And so I wrote the story about everything. And so the thing about the book is, and this is what I love, is because like I tell people, as a pastor, you have a lot of leaders that preach the word, but they won't share their testimonies. They want people to be delivered, but the Bible says that we overcome by the blood of the Lamb and by the words of our testimony. So it's by our testimony that people are delivered, but they won't tell you their real testimony. So in my book, I'm gonna just share. I talk about my rape. I talk about domestic violence at a young age. I started dating at 15, and my mom had to get my ex locked up over 38 times. Wow. Because the domestic violence was that bad. And because I was underage at that time, that's how it worked. She had to press the charges.
Have you heard about Book Authority's best new podcasting book winner, which is Dr. Tina J. Ramsey, for her book, The Power of Podcasting, Unlocking Tips and Strategies for Podcasting Success. This book is your podcasting coach in a book. She is sharing so many strategies. This book reached #1 twice on Amazon for new release and best-selling book. So go ahead to ctrmedianetwork.com to purchase your copy today, or simply place your order on. CTR Media Network is now accepting new podcasters to join our growing network that's reaching 350 million global listeners. Have you heard? CTR Media Network offers podcast production, podcast training, distribution, and product placement. Book us for your next event or schedule an interview with CTR Media Network podcasters today. To learn more, go to ctrmedianetwork.com.
Hello, everybody. I am Dr. Tina J. Ramsey, the host of the Tina Ramsey Show and Podcast, powered by CTR Media Network. And today we are live at the Hush No More Domestic Violence Health Fair, and we're in Irmo. Yes, for many of you who may have never seen Irmo, South Carolina, and we are having a sit down with some of the amazing sponsors as well as some of the participants in this amazing event. And today, I know you see this beautiful lady to my right. You thought I was gonna say to the left, didn't you? But I said to the right. All right. And so I'm so glad that you decided to take a sit down with us and share some of your stories. So tell us your name, a little bit about yourself.
Okay. Well, I have my little spiel. I am Pastor Patrice Washington here in Columbia, South Carolina, the rapping pastor.
Okay, then.
In Columbia, South Carolina. So I've been pastoring in Columbia for 13 years. I'm also a book author. My book is called From the Pit to the Palace. It's a testimonial. And then I also do Christian hip hop to reach this generation. I started doing Christian hip hop in 2018 to reach this generation. So I have several songs that's out on all streaming platforms.
Okay, so what made you decide to do Christian hip hop? I know you said you wanted to reach a generation, but what was that aha moment? Because God give us all these different assignments, different gifts, different talents. But what made you say hip hop? That's where I'm gonna go at. Because we can do R&B and everything else. So what made you decide to do that?
It wasn't that I decided. I was led by God to do
that
it.
Part.
I tell people all the time, whatever God tell you to do, just do it even if it don't make sense. So most people in Columbia, they know me as Prophetess Washington, or Pastor Washington. They know me just praying, deliverance, healing, but God told me to do this, and I just had to be obedient. He came to me in a vision, and he just showed me, reaching the youth through music. And I was like, well, God, because I'm going to ask questions. I'm like, well, God, I don't sing, not no more. And he's like, no, you're going to reach them through Christian hip hop. Well, I don't rap, but God told me to do it. And I did it, and it just flowed. I started out by just taking songs that I noticed that the children loved, that was on the radio station, and I remixed all of them and made them gospel songs. And so I put out a mixtape called Reborn that's on my YouTube channel that remixed all those songs. And then I went back and I did my original songs on my EP, which is called Dope. And it stands for Divinely Opening People's Eyes. And every song on the EP is named after a drug. So your marijuana, cocaine, heroin, Molly. And I did that because God began to show me, like, when people are on drugs, they have symptoms And so sometimes we go through life and our issues relate to some of those symptoms that people have on drugs. So like Molly give you your Euphoria. So on that song, I'm talking about love, you know, so that's how that is.
That's deep. You should have brought that with her so we can have a sound party.
Yeah.
Okay, and so you said that you're an author. And I love the way you choose to use words. You are a lyricist. I see why I got you to do that. Because the way that you place words that make it intrigue, it's very intriguing. So what made you decide to write a book and to use that particular title? Because that's very unique.
So again, like I said, just my spiritual gift that God has given me. If God tell me to do something, I obey. And so I was sitting in the house one day and he told me to write the book. And I was like, write the book about what? Write about what? And you know, I actually went on a fast. I went on a 31-day fast just for guidance. And that's when God revealed to me he wanted me to write a book about my life. And I was like, what part? Because my life has so many layers. And so he said, all of it. And so I wrote the story about everything. And so the thing about the book is, and this is what I love, is because like I tell people, as a pastor, you have a lot of leaders that preach the word, but they won't share their testimonies. They want people to be delivered, but the Bible says that we overcome by the blood of the Lamb and by the words of our testimony. So it's by our testimony that people are delivered, but they won't tell you their real testimony. So in my book, I'm gonna just share. I talk about my rape. I talk about domestic violence at a young age. I started dating at 15, and my mom had to get my ex locked up over 38 times because the domestic violence was that bad. And so, and because I was underage at that time, that's how it worked. She had to press the charges. And so I talk about the domestic violence. I talked about the rape. I talk about just different kinds of abuse, alcohol, marijuana. I used to be a stripper.
Wow.
Yes, I talk about that. Abortion. So the topics that some preachers and people in leadership, they may have went through these things, but you would never know because they're embarrassed to share. But how can people be delivered if you don't share what you've been through?
It's true. That is so true. And when I'm thinking about all the things that you mentioned, even if you haven't dealt with it, you're familiar with the words, the terminology, and some of the things that happen, because you never know the whole gamut if you haven't went through it yourself. And so thank you for being transparent. Thank you for being different. And thank you for sharing your story the way that you shared it so it can be relatable. So it would give them the power to kind of like say, okay, I can change this, because they see, okay, she's an author, she's a rapper, she's a pastor, she's doing it. Okay.
And an actor. I've actually been in 2 movies, so I have my IMDb.
Okay, girl. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. So they can see that it's hope.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's hope. And so I'm just like at this point where I'm just so moved by so many people when I'm hearing your stories, because your stories hold power, your words hold power. And the fact that you're using it in such a profound way in order to help inspire people through your life to be able to do better. So what made you decide to be a part of this particular event and also share your gifts on stage? And I was over here, but I was interviewing, but I was like, oh my God, I got to pay attention to what I'm doing.
I met Miss Vanessa. I did another community event up in Blythewood because I actually stay in that area. And as soon as I got off the stage, she was like, you got to come to the domestic violence event. So she booked me a year in advance. So I was like, you know, I told her I was excited to come. I shared a portion of my testimony because I'm gonna throw this little nugget in there. A lot of people don't understand when things are swept under the rug, they repeat themselves. And so domestic violence was a generational cycle in my family. My mom went through it. My grandmother went through it, you know, and then it came to me, and then my girls went through it because I have a 30-year-old, a 27-year-old, and then also my daughter's been turned 18. So my 27-year-old, she went through a horrific domestic violence situation on 2 different occasions. And so, you know, I feel like we have to talk about these things so that we can break those cycles.
You know what, I never even thought of it like that because initially a person would think whatever they went through is just dealing with them, and the way that you really made it very clear that it's not just you, it may have happened to you, but everybody that comes behind you, if you don't heal, if you don't talk about it, if you don't fix it, it's going to continue the cycle. And I was like, mentally, that makes sense now hearing you say
Absolutely.
it, but it didn't click to me until just now. So you guys, it's very important that you start sharing your stories, you start healing and fixing it, because we want to give our children legacy, right? But have you ever thought about you maybe possibly giving them a legacy of trauma?
Right.
And who want to do that?
Right.
You know, at the end of the day. And so I'm so happy that you shared that, because I know that's going to just pour life into someone who needs to hear it, because I hear it in just that way. And so I'm like, no, she has a point.
Yeah. So I want to say this too. And so just to go back. So when I said that I used to be a stripper, a lot of people, they don't understand why people do what they do. So even I went into the medical field and I became a medical assistant. Then I went back and got my degrees in counseling and stuff. And so what I realized is in my situation, I used to work in my kids' school. I got sick. I was put in the hospital and they terminated me because I was in a hospital.
Wow.
Okay, and so I had 2 kids to take care of with no job. I had to go through radiation with no job. And so at a young age, in my early 20s, that's the only thing that I could think of. Because when you're young, you don't try to, find out everything. You just try to find a quick fix.
For your problem.
And that's what I found. That was the quick fix for me. You know what I'm saying? But that's what led me. And so my thing is, there's a root cause to everybody's issue. So that's why I don't judge people. The slogan of my ministry is I will love you through it, whatever it is, because everybody has a it.
Everybody.
Everybody.
Everybody. That is a true fact. And I'm glad that you piggyback back to that and brought that out, because they need to hear that sometimes it's your circumstances and your lack of option that put you in a situation that you most likely would have never done had not you been in a certain situation. And that don't make you a bad person. That don't make you less educated, because here she was going to school, all this different stuff, but she was young, didn't have options. Well, we feel like we don't have as many options because maybe the people who we're around, we can't see. We got that like tunnel vision. And so that's going to speak life into somebody that need to hear that. For you to pull that back like that, somebody need to hear that. All right. And so, but look at what God has used your life as a testimony now in order to help a girl who may feel like that's her only option. Now you let her know that that's not the only option, baby. That's not the only option.
That's right.
And so how can people get in contact with you? And
I'm on all social media platforms as Pastor Patrice Washington. On Facebook, I have 2 pages, Patrice Washington, and then also Pastor Patrice Washington. My music is available on all platforms. All platforms. Please stream.
Stream it.
Stream it. And my book is available everywhere books is sold: Walmart, Barnes & Noble, Amazon. You can get the book From the Pit to the Palace.
Oh, I absolutely love it. And I would love to have some more time to sit down with you, but it look like everybody just wrapping all up and stuff. I want to talk some more.
Amen.
But anyway, it's been a pleasure speaking with you today. And thank you for sharing your story, because I know it's going to help so many people, young and older, to be able to start thinking and stop being so hard on themselves.
Self-condemnation.
We can be our worst enemy. We can be our worst enemy. So thank you for sharing all of this journey. And you guys make sure to go pick her book, go ahead and stream all her music, and check her out. Do you do anything virtual online dealing with your ministry work?
I'm getting ready to start doing that.
See, God done
Absolutely.
told me.
God actually put in my heart to kind of do it's kind of like a podcast, but like more so online ministry, not church, just laid back. And I like to do one-on-one with people as well. So yeah. Yep.
Okay, we do that too.
Yep.
All right. Well, I know why she came over here tonight. But anyway, you guys make sure to check her out once again. And thank you so much for being a part of the Tina Ramsey Show. If no one told you today that you matter, that you are worthy, that you are loved, I want you to know that I love you. And what do I want you to do until next time? I want you to do what? Keep smiling. I'll see you next week, same time, same place. Because it's time for you to come share, shine, and grow on the Tina Ramsey Show. Talk to you later. Bye.